know, the caboose.
And I want to get some police out there.
And over the years,
Tomorrow and
Pull
then
up my
next
stuff.
Wednesday is the last Wednesday.
It gets serious here.
Oh, I thought
It's
27.
serious. It's serious. It's serious here.
I got police out
I'm up. I'm up.
there. And you consider this too. Look how cold it is.
Oh, crew. It's supposed to be Friday from in this way.
It's the what?
Think so?
Work in the yard when it's cold. That's a
You're not, right?
John Zenith, I was gonna call him. Mayor says he's not doing too good.
There's no one running against me.
They didn't look good.
They're waiting to see if I'm running.
He lost a lot of
Which I
weight.
think I'm running.
I seen him Monday evening.
It says I'm running.
Ordinance.
You guys can make more.
I seen him after that.
He was all right.
This big dilemma discussion on weekend.
Well, every morning you go down to the
What's his name?
lawn bakery,
Eric House.
except for
Your
Wednesday
husband
and
running
Thursday.
this year?
He told me he was feeling better.
I was on a
He was gonna run. I was waiting for his name to show up.
screen when I
Did you know
when I was psyched.
Marvin Preston?
Stockbroker.
Marvin Preston, he used to run newcomers funeral.
Oh, you only have that
No,
one?
no.
I got a whole bunch
I
of
probably
them.
had, but
Yeah, his wife passed away.
Two. I don't know, I got a whole bunch.
I remember when that thing burned down.
Oh, get
There's
Yeah.
one body in there.
Okay,
You
what's
got it out.
1219?
Not me. but
Saved it.
Saved the corpse. I should have already got one.
No.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Can we have a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Comments from the public? Hearing none. Consent agenda?
I move the consent agenda be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 9, contract for design, water supply and treatment plant improvements, resolution number 17-087.
Eric?
Thank you, sir. At the City Council work session of June 7th, 2016, the City Council determined that the city should plan to renovate the city's water treatment plant per a study that was performed by Burns & McDonnell Engineers for us at a cost that's now estimated at $14 million, which might also perhaps include a new lime system at a future time after the initial expenditure at an estimated cost of $3,600,000. And council had instructed staff at that time to plan to bring a design contract with Burns McDonnell in the future after determination of the appropriate funding source for the work, and the council did make that determination at a later time that we would use the gaming fund to fund the water treatment plant renovation. So now, before the city council for consideration is a contract with Burns McDonnell for design of the water treatment plant improvements in the amount of $2,394,124. We have included the PowerPoint presentation that was presented to the council in June to remind you of the work that was discussed at that time that we will be planning for. Jeff Klein of Burns McDonnell, whom you've met, is here. If you have any questions for the engineer that we're recommending for award, we do have a resolution before you for award a contract for design. That's all, sir.
Just for you, the 14 million estimate, how many budget periods is that gonna be over to?
We have it over two,
Uh-oh.
this year and next year. So this contract is for $2,394,000. That'll probably do it for this year.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna use anything close to that 7 million. Probably maybe plan on budgeting the balance of that 14 million in fiscal year 2019.
Okay, thank you.
So Eric, where does this, how does this coincide with the slide where it breaks down the opinion of probable cost. Where is this reflected in that? Because we had like priority 1 and priority 2. It's page 32. Slide 32, I should say. I'm trying to get a sense of what we anticipated.
So
this
the
process gonna
original
be.
estimate was 13,633,000. We've, because
Right.
it's been a little while since then, we've rounded that up to 14 million even.
Okay.
But that was the estimate at that time.
Does this cover, like, we had structural and architectural and mechanical? Is that where this would be reflected? Trying to figure out what,
It covers, that amount covers both design and construction costs for all of those things. And again, Jeff Klein perhaps would be better qualified to answer the questions, but that is all inclusive of both design and
okay,
construction.
maybe it's apples and oranges. I'm just trying to,
Yeah, it's, so the 14 million includes the engineering fees for design, bid phase, and construction phase services. Or the 13,633, which has been rounded because it's been about 18 months, rounded up for inflation.
okay. I'll assume that cost is embedded in here,
Yeah,
It is.
it is, it's
So the
embedded.
design cost, yes.
broken
that's-
out into different
that's
categories,
that's
I guess.
Correct.
Okay,
It's included in the 14 million.
It is. It's
As well
not,
as
it's
some
not showing in
contingency.
the chart on that page.
yeah, we kind of group it a little bit differently in this chart, so I was trying to tie back. Is this about what we expected to spend on these services?
Yes, I mean, the original estimate was 13,633,000. Again, as Mr. Klein mentioned, we because it's been 18 months or so since this was presented to you, we did go ahead and bump that up a little bit, but it is, the amount that we have here for design is in fact about what was contemplated. And the total amount that we're expecting to spend for this project remains at the 14 million that we
Okay.
budgeted.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 10, license agreement, Northtown Devco, bill number 7258, ordinance number 9055.
Eric?
City Councilor Tom Barzee has arrived just in time to present this item to you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm sorry I'm late. 20 minutes ago, I was on an airplane, so,
Wow, impressive.
Somebody speeded to get in.
before you is a request. It is not atypical of those that we have had before. I don't know how to describe it other than the old David O's building. On the east side of that building, near the north portion of it, they want to turn that into office. Northtown Devco owns the building, would like to turn that into office space. The street Fayette that runs on that east side, we have more right-of-way than we do on a lot of those side streets, and it goes right up essentially to the building. As a result, for them to be able to use that, they need to put a doorway, a ramp, stairs on one side, and a landing, as well as a doorway to be able to use it, but it would protrude into our right-of-way. But I don't believe it affects the sidewalk, does it? Okay, it does not affect our existing sidewalk. There's some green space between the sidewalk and that, and this would allow them to be able to use it. And as is typical in most license agreements that that this council considers, in fact, I think essentially all of them, we have the right to terminate it at any time and require them to remove that without cost to us, at their cost and expense, if for some reason it becomes a problem in the future. Be glad to answer any questions you may have.
We've done this a number of times in other areas.
First reading.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance adopting and approving a license agreement by and between the City of North Kansas City, Missouri and Northtown Devco regarding real property generally located at 2006 Fayette in the city of North Kansas City, Missouri.
I move that bill number 7258 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9055.
Second.
Call roll.
Councilmember Pearman,
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Councilmember Steffen,
Yes.
Councilmember Farr,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember DeLong,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl.
Yes.
An ordinance adopting and approving a license agreement by and between the City of North Kansas City, Missouri and Northtown Devco regarding real property generally located at 2006 Fayette in the City of North Kansas City, Missouri. Number 11, change order number 4, YMCA renovation project.
Eric? Thank you, sir. I'll call on the city's building official, David Harris.
Good evening. This change order is for the purpose of the YMCA renovation project. On the second floor of the YMCA, there's an area called the functional room. And on December 7th, the contractor, Herner Construction Company, removed part of the ceiling in order to complete the work. And they've uncovered a overhang material and framing that was hidden under the ceiling. The overhang was unknown to the architects and not included in the design. We discussed this with the YMCA, and the YMCA and the city agree that this should be incorporated into the project. So this ordinance is to request a change order number 4 for the amount of $5,442.49. At the particular time that we discovered this, the workers were actually in the process of completing this work. So we requested approval from the mayor to continue with this project. Be happy to answer any questions.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 12, change order Parks and Recreation Center project floor staining.
Eric?
Thank you, sir. I'll call on Mr. Harris.
This request is for change order for the Parks and Recreation Center. Part of the contract design included staining approximately 4,000 square feet of area within the recreation center that is to remain concrete. Within that project, the stain, the agreement, the guarantee for the stain is approximately 1.5 years. It's a water-based stain, and once it dries like paint. And it's just a normal product that is used. After talking to the park department actually wants to be able to beforehand go ahead and have this overlaid with a polyurethane clear stain that will make it last for more than 3 years. So this amount, in the amount of $6,906.08, would pay the additional cost for that urethane sealer over the top.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Number 13, employment agreement, Patrick Hoffer, bill number 7257, ordinance number 9054.
Eric?
Thank you, sir. Public Works Director Patrick Hoffer has an employment agreement with the city. I'm recommending that his employment agreement be amended to provide him a raise in salary that's commensurate with his performance appraisal that I performed recently, his position in the pay quartile for his position, and the budgeted increase in the fiscal year 2018 city budget for all city employees. So an ordinance is before you to amend his employment agreement accordingly.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
An ordinance approving and adopting the Fifth Amendment Addenda to Employment Agreement by and between the City of North Kansas City, Missouri, and Patrick A. Hoover, Public Works Director.
I move that bill number 7257 be placed on second and final reading and pass as ordinance number 9054.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Pearman?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefan?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl?
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance approving and adopting the Fifth Amendment Addenda to Employment Agreement by and between the City of North Kansas City, Missouri, and Patrick A. Hoover, Public Works Director. Number 14, termination of merged interests, Armor Road redevelopment area, Bill number 7256, ordinance number 9053.
Eric?
Thank you, sir. I'll call Mr. Barzee.
Mr. Member and members of the council, this particular ordinance that's before you it involves the Armor Road redevelopment area. As you know, over a several-year period, the city has acquired all of the property interests down there. And over the years, those properties individually became burdened for appropriate reasons with different types of restrictions, with different types of easements, et cetera. Now that we're in this unique position right now, since we own all of that property, to be able to clear those up so that they will no longer be a burden to a future property owner. If they need an easement, for example, an easement needs to be had, then they need to create that easement themselves. And so this really cleans up, and it's pretty unique because we happen to control all of the property right now. It's all merged with us, and so as a result, by passing this ordinance, it'll allow us to clean those up within that property. Be glad to answer any questions you may have.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance approving termination of merged interest regarding the Armor Road redevelopment area in the City of North Kansas City, Missouri.
I move that bill number 7256 be placed on second and final reading and pass as ordinance number 9053.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Pearman?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefan?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl? Yes. An ordinance approving termination of merged interest regarding the Armor Road redevelopment area in the City of North Kansas City, Missouri. Number 15, budget reallocation, Swift Mile Street Festival to Arts in the Park Festival. Resolution number 17-086.
Eric?
Thank you, sir. At your last meeting, you considered a suggestion that the existence of two festivals in the city, the Swift Mile Festival and the Arts in the Park Festival, affect the viability of both. And the suggestion was made that the Swift Mile Festival be discontinued, at least in its present form, and funds from that festival be rolled in part into the Arts in the Park Festival. So we had before you is a budget amendment that would reduce actually the amount that's budgeted in the Convention and Tourism Fund from $50,000 to $35,000 that would all be applied to the Arts in the Park Festival. We don't necessarily need to bring a budget amendment to you to spend less than you'd originally budgeted, but we wanted to memorialize the decision that you indicated at your last meeting, so we recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Number 16, approving accounts due and payable by the city through December 15th, 2017. Bill number 7259, ordinance number 9056.
First reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through December 15th, 2017.
I move that bill number 7259 be placed on second and final reading and pass as ordinance number 9056.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Pearman?
Yes.
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefan?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodahl?
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through December 15th, 2017.
Mr. Eric.
Thank you, sir. Begin staff reports by calling on the city clerk, Crystal Doss.
The Harris applications have been coming in, and Friday will be the last day for them to be presented. So we need to set up a meeting so we can review all the applications and what's wanted. I was looking at Tuesday, January 9th, we don't have a council meeting. And Wednesday, January 10th, or Wednesday, January 17th. Would that work for anybody?
Any of them.
Any of them work for me.
All of them work for me.
Yeah.
Perhaps suggest January 9th, that's an off Tuesday. Would that, shall we do that?
Okay, I'll be sure and send something
How long
out.
do they usually last?
Last year, we did it in record time. We were only here about an hour.
I won't be there January 9th.
On,
Are we in for another night?
What, can you do January 10th, which is the day after Wednesday?
No, I'll be gone. I'm gone that whole week. So,
I have a
Yes.
question.
Uh-huh.
On January 2nd and the 16th, we have council meetings those days. Are either of those not going to have a work session? Maybe we can come in before the council meeting to do that? I don't know if that's doable or not.
It's just kind of hard to do that because sometimes it takes longer than we think it will, depending on how much discussion we have.
Can everybody do the 17th then, or?
How about the 17th?
Okay for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
17th work?
What time?
6 o'clock? 6, okay?
You'll send out an email for
Yeah,
people
I'll
that
I'll
forget a
post
lot.
it and everything, yeah.
I may even forget I got a note here.
Okay.
But we'll plan on and clarify and just make sure it's okay with everybody. But Wednesday, January 17th, 6
We
o'clock.
plan on doing it like we did last year.
Yeah, I'll put them all together and put the the stuff, in, and I'll get it out to you ahead of time so you can look at it.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a few announcements. First of all, would like to note that our incoming fire chief, David Hargis, is here tonight. Dave?
Speech?
You all-
Speech?
You all know Dave. Dave has been with us since 1991. I sent out an announcement said he'd been here since 2001, but I was reading too quickly on his resume. So he's been with us for, 26 years. So I know that Dave will do a great job, and Gary Fisher is still here, and he will actually be presenting to you at your next work session on January 2nd. So we're going to keep him working right up until the end. But look forward to working with incoming Chief Hargis beginning after the 5th of January. And also would note that we have a retirement ceremony or party, or whatever you want to talk it, for Gary on Friday, January 5th. Would like to note that I attended on behalf of the city the Missouri Development Finance Board meeting today on behalf of the Rabbit Hole, which is an application that you've heard about and considered a number of times. Today, the board considered the final application for the Rabbit Hole. They asked for $2 million in tax credits from the state, and the board was very enthusiastic about their application, approved it unanimously.
Oh, good.
So the folks from the Rabbit Hole are very, very happy about that, and I know that they are looking at closing on the building early next year and moving forward in all the ways that have been talked about. So they're looking at an opening in 2019, but it was a big milestone for the Rabbit Hole. We are the official applicant for those funds, so that was what my presence was there for. Would just like I previously sent out a note, but just a reminder that we will, the small cart distribution for the trash carts and recycling carts is scheduled to occur tomorrow. Our contractor will be coming. We've sent letters out to everybody who'd indicated that they received a larger cart, either trash or recycling, would like to get a smaller one. We've sent them letters advising them to put their carts out at the curb tomorrow, and they will be switched out. So hopefully that will all go smoothly, and that will be sort of the last step in our transition from the previous contractor to the current one. The legislative breakfast that we participate in with other Northland municipalities is scheduled for Friday, January 12th at 8 o'clock. And currently I have council members Clevenger and Stewart and Mayor Stilo as attending. Been asked to provide a count. Does anybody else have an idea that they might attend? If not, I'll go ahead and firm that up.
That's the 12th?
Yes. That will be at the Gladstone Community Center at 8 o'clock a.m.
You can put me down for that.
Great. I'll do that. All right. Thank you. Want to let you know that we're going to try something new regarding answering phones. We are going to try having an auto attendant answer our phones in order to try to lessen the load on the front desk staff. We'll see how that goes. If people are accepting of it, we think that these days people are pretty accustomed to that, and that might be a way for our front desk staff not to have to try to answer every call and then redirect a fair number of them. So when people call in, we'll get that going here in the next couple of days. They'll receive a message that, first of all, tells them they can press 0 to get a real person at any time. That'll be the first thing they hear. And then for water billing or service, business licensing, or other general questions, to press 1, municipal court to press 1, and then other numbers going 3, 4, and 5, we'll take them either to Public Works, Community Development, or Parks and Recreation, or they can repeat the message. But they can always get to a person right away. If we have complaints or issues about it, we can always go back to simply answering directly. But we'd like to give that a try in order to try to lessen the load on our front desk staff, because sometimes with people away from the desk, either just because they're away from it or for various absences, it can be difficult to be able to get to the phones on time. Yes, sir.
Question, will we need any kind of other special equipment or anything?
No.
No?
Sir.
Okay.
We have the capability right now. If you hear anything about that from your constituents, please let us know. Lastly, I have, I guess, a couple of council members have advised me, I think Councilmember Pearman, Councilmember Clevenger, that they will not be present on the date of our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is January 2nd, Tuesday, January 2nd, 2 weeks from tonight. We want to make sure, are we going to have a quorum, or is anybody else thinking that they might be absent that night? We're going to do our best to keep that agenda light, just so that, because a number of us will be away, including myself, next week as far as preparation, and also try to keep it non-controversial. We do need to pay bills.
Like to be
so
here
if
for
you
the
weren't, but if we
controversy,
didn't have
so
a
thank you.
quorum, we would want to try to reschedule the meeting and to at least make sure that we could do that. Will the rest of you be here on January 2nd?
You may not. You may get stuck where you're going.
Hopefully I'll be back, but if not, the meeting can always go on without me, but it can't go on without you. So. All right, well, we will plan on then going ahead and proceeding with that meeting date. And that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, am I up?
Okay.
Oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
Congratulations to incoming Chief Vargas. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard again, I guess, for another position. And I'm excited about the rabbit hole moving forward. That's really good news. That's a really exciting project. And my only other thing is to let everyone know happy holidays, since I won't see you, and then I'll be back for the second meeting in January.
Congratulations, Chief. I think it's going to be a wonderful position for you to fill. Gary's going to be a good civilian and just enjoy life, and then you put it all on him, right? Okay. Everybody have a happy holiday. I don't have anything else to say.
Not a whole lot else, just echoing the comments of my fellow council members. Congratulations to Dave Hargis. I think he'll do a great job. I want to thank Chief Fisher for the job that he's done for us. I think he's done a real good job. Got a top-notch fire department, and I think that'll continue under our new chief. And Eric's already said that I, will not be here on January 2nd. I apologize for that. I don't like to miss meetings, but it's unavoidable for the 2nd. And happy holidays to everybody. That's it.
Yeah, my congratulations to David, and goodbye. I don't know if Chief will be here the next meeting or not. I know you'll still be on duty, won't you, the 2nd or whatever it is we meet?
He will be here.
Huh? He will? Okay. But just in case we don't see each other that night for some reason, it's been really a pleasure having you on the fire department. I think you've done a lot of good things, and you kept that one promise you mentioned, that when you left, there'd be somebody here qualified from within our department, and we certainly got a good one, I think. And before I forget, Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy Holidays. I do have something to read here. It's only a few pages. Actually, it's just a note. Last night's board meeting at the library was awarded for the 7th year in a row, has received the Library Journal's American Star Libraries Award. And I think I got a nice plaque that's 7 years in a row, and I thought, well, that's nice, but I wonder how nice it is. So here's how nice it is. North Kansas City rated number 15 out of 1,443 libraries.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was neat too, until the next number. NKC library rated number 42 out of 7,409 libraries.
Wow.
Now that to me was something. And anybody wants that copy, you can have it. I got it on my computer, but congratulations to them. By the way, it's based on state-reported annual statistics on circulation, library visits, program attendance, and internet use. So, attaboy to them. And that's all I have.
Well, congratulations to future Fire Chief Dave Hargis, and best of luck to you, Chief Fisher, in retirement. I want to wish everybody happy holidays, and that's really quite an achievement that we found out about the library. That's all I have.
Congratulations, Dave. I know we'll do well. Chief Fisher, many good journeys ahead of you, I know, in your next quest, whatever it may be. Hopefully it's sitting in front of the TV or out in the garden or whatever, and enjoying it. Wish to thank everybody for the last year's, all our accomplishments, since this is the last time we're going to meet this year. Next year, hopefully we'll bring new and exciting moments for us all, for everybody. That's all I have. Thank you.
I too want to congratulate incoming Chief Hargis. Excited to hear the news about the rabbit hole application going through. I think that'll be big once they move on to their next steps. Hope everyone has good holidays.
Congratulations to the new fire chief. Congratulations to Mr. Bryant on his new membership on the board. I don't know the name of it, but
I forgot to say that comment,
Yeah.
but
I'm really proud of you.
he's been appointed to the National League of Cities 2018 Transportation and Infrastructure Services Federal Advocacy Committee. Congratulations.
Yes. Pat, thank you for all your hard work. You're worth it. You do a good job. I hear that we're going to have funds going from Swift Mile to the Parks and Rec. Last year at the Parks and Rec, Arts in the Park, it was really hot. And so I asked Kelly, I said, hey, do you think next year maybe we could have like some water features? Maybe it be some misters on top of the pavilion, or maybe some like water balloon fights for the kids. And I think with the new funds, I'd like to request that. Some kind of water feature, so that even the vendors everybody was just so hot. And then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody. And that is all. Thank you.
Oh, yep. I'm going to change it where I get to go first. Happy holidays. Thank you.
All right, Mayor.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Number 20.
Second.
Consideration of a request to hold and recess into an executive session as requested by the city administrator to be held on this date on a real estate matter pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes 610.021-2.
So moved.
Second.
Oh,
Who did the second, please?
I
Councilmember Pearman, that a yes? Yes. Councilmember Sanders?
We were having a private
I'm
conversation.
very sorry, I didn't see that.
Ward 2 is having a meeting. I'm sorry, we will not be able to answer your questions right now.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay, Councilmember Clevenger?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefan?
Yes.
Councilmember Farr?
Yes.
Councilmember DeLong?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodoff?
Yeah, yes.